Hey guys, what is going on? Rodrigo here with the noobs, and Warzone 2 is finally here. And in this video, I've got a full guide on how to play the brand new game mode DMZ. So let's get straight into it. DMZ is a twist on Battle Royale, an open world narrative focused extraction mode. As an operator within your squad, you'll have free reign to complete faction based missions, take on side objectives and fight enemy operators as well as AI combatants. The ultimate objective of DMZ is being able to Xfill with your loot, but we'll come on to that shortly. During the pregame lobby in DMZ, you'll be able to select missions to complete once you start, and these missions belong to one of three factions. To begin with, you'll only be able to complete missions from the Legion faction. Once you've completed several missions with Legion, you'll then be able to accept pregame missions with White Lotus, and after completing missions with them, you can finally take missions with the third and final faction, Black Mouse. Once you've selected the mission to take on, you'll spawn into DMZ, but unlike typical Battle Royale, you'll just spawn at a random location on the Al Mazrah map, so you won't be jumping out of a plane here. It's important to note at this point that DMZ is a single life game mode. Although teammates can revive you when downed, if you die then you'll have to matchmake for another game of DMZ. The missions that you select are broken down into a key task as well as side tasks to complete. So for example, for the Legion faction, you may get a mission where you are required to locate a contract phone, which you can use to download key intel, which you can then take further steps with. Aside from the pre-selected missions, however, there's a ton of things you can do during a DMZ match, and one of those is breaching a stronghold. A stronghold will appear on the TAC map as this castle icon, but when you arrive it will be locked. To enter a stronghold you will need to obtain a key, and you can do this by purchasing one from a buy station or picking one up as loot. Strongholds are full of enemy AI, and defeating them will give you access to high level loot within the stronghold building. Aside from strongholds, there's multiple side missions and contracts that you can complete. For example, cracking a safe full of top tier loot, or activating a UAV tower to see where enemy squads are. I've listed the types of contracts and side missions on screen that you can currently complete within a DMZ match, and these can be done in any order and frequency, or alternatively completely ignored if you don't want to take part in them. As part of the looting system in DMZ, you can find various items around the map, such as wine bottles or watches, and you can sell these for cash at buy stations in order to fund other purchases. A really unique aspect of DMZ is assimilation. As you're about to attempt to take down something like a stronghold, you can align with a nearby enemy squad of real players, and you can do this by using the assimilation option in the tactical ping wheel as seen here. If both squads agree, then this will effectively turn your two squads into one for a temporary period of time, and if you're thinking of double crossing the other squad when they're not looking, then think again. During this assimilation period, friendly fire is disabled. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the video, the ultimate objective of DMZ is to successfully Xfill. As part of DMZ, you'll have access to a backpack where you can store loot like cash, weapons, and even weapon blueprints. If you manage to Xfill with your loot, this will be put into storage and can be accessed and used in the pre-game lobby of your next DMZ match. If you die during a game, however, then you'll lose the majority of your loot. If you find weapon blueprints during a match and die before being able to Xfill, you won't necessarily lose those, however, but you won't be able to use them for several hours. So you've got a backpack full of loot and you want to Xfill, but how do you do it? Xfills are marked on the TAC map as the blue person running towards the door, and at the start of a DMZ match there are a multitude of Xfill locations. If you're happy with your loot gained by opening crates or completing missions, you can head to one of those Xfill locations, and once there, hit your action button to initiate the Xfill sequence. Doing this will start a countdown and swarm the area with AI, as well as alerting all operators in the game that you and your team are attempting to Xfill, providing them with the location. If a squad decides to try and derail your Xfill, then they can kill you and take the Xfill chopper instead. As Xfills are called in, that location will disappear from the map, so the longer a game goes on, the less opportunities you'll have to Xfill. Once all locations are used, then a final Xfill location will spawn on the map, but as you can imagine, all remaining teams will be fighting to Xfill, so it's better to try and Xfill sooner rather than later. There's also a couple of world events to watch out for, such as sandstorms, which predictably reduce visibility and harm your operator. The other world event is radiation zones, marked on the TAC map like so. As the match of DMZ progresses, the radiation zones will expand and present danger to you and your squad, so it goes without saying that you should avoid these events. The Al Mazrah map is huge, and so using vehicles to navigate the area is vital. A new addition to Warzone 2.0 that is also present in DMZ is being able to refuel vehicles. When the fuel meter is low, you can refill it by using gas canisters around the map, or by heading to a fuel station which will be marked on the TAC map like so. So all in all, DMZ is a fun twist on the traditional Battle Royale, and is much more focused on interactions with enemy AI, completing primary and side missions, and exfilling with your loot that you can then use in your next match. Let us know in the comments below what you think of this game mode, and if you'll be playing it more than the traditional Battle Royale. Just before you go, if this guide helped you out, then subbing would be really appreciated. We've got a growing community where we play exclusively Call of Duty, so come and join us. Take care guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.